So you ever like getting mad? Like real mad? Like so mad you could rip a goblin in half? Like so mad you could cleave a dragon in two? So mad it's like you stepped on a Lego? Huh? What? Who is this guy? What kind of lousy name is Debo Pringle anyways? What? It would make me mad. Well then maybe you should play the Path of the Berserker Barbarian. Hey everyone, Debo Pringle here, and today we're talking about the Path of the Berserker Barbarian subclass. It's the first video of its kind. It's the Should You Play series. It's a series dedicated to going over every single subclass in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Oh yeah, every single one. Even the Banneret Fighter subclass. What? You never heard of it? Yeah, me neither, but we'll go over it anyways. But that's a video for a different time, but if that sort of thing interests you, feel free to subscribe or come back every Thursday where we have a new one. But now, onto the Path of the Berserker. So the first thing we need to look at is theme. Okay. Ooh, violence, okay. Untrammeled fury. Ooh, blood. Thrill in the chaos of battle. Okay, so we're noticing a theme here. We exalt in violence and the blood of our enemies. No issue putting ourselves at risk and thrusting ourselves into the carnage of battle. When we rage, we see red and won't stop until every enemy is dead. A solid, definitely aggressive theme, more combat based, but we still have something to work with here. So with that theme in mind, how do the mechanics back it up? Are they even good? So at level 3, we get Frenzy when we select this subclass. We can go into a Frenzy when we rage. During the duration of this rage, we can make a single weapon attack as a bonus action on each of our turns after we rage. And when it ends, we suffer 1 level of exhaustion. So this is the bread and butter of this subclass. It fits right in with our theme. We're going into a frenzy and we're smashing stuff until we're too tired. And I'm sure exhaustion isn't too bad, right? Okay, that's not great. And, oh. So, I mean, we only die eventually, right? We don't really mind that. Okay, so we do care about dying, but we should never really get that exhausted. Especially considering the 5th level exhaustion is where you can't move. But now I'm imagining...
Toss me. What? I cannot jump the distance, you'll have to toss me.
So I suppose technically it's an option. And to be fair, we can use this as many times as we want until we die. The immediate issue with this is, do we ever get to the point where it's not optimal for us to use our Frenzy Rage? 1 combat a day? No problem. In a dungeon crawl where we have like 5 or 6? Okay, now we gotta be careful. Especially considering that we can't even use our extra bonus action attack until our 2nd turn, and that's assuming we rage on the 1st. That is kind of a bummer. Ugh, it just makes me so mad. It makes me want to rage. But at the end of the day, it's really not that bad. I mean, how many combat encounters are we having on the average day? I feel like most people are running 1 to 3 during an adventuring day. And not every single combat will need to frenzy. Problem is if one of those combats only lasts 2 or 3 rounds, we only get 1 or 2 extra attacks. Overall, it's a solid start. Gives us some satisfaction in going frenzy. It certainly fits with the theme, but there are some drawbacks to it. So what else we got? Mindless Rage. Well, I hate thinking, so this already sounds good. Beginning at 6th level, you can't be charmed or frightened while raging. If you are charmed or frightened when you enter a rage, the effect is suspended for the duration of the rage. Okay, this is cool. I mean, who needs a brain anyways? And none of this spell casting nonsense, right? Vampire? Psh, get out of here. Dragon? Child's play. All I need to do is get mad, bro. You mad, bro? Yeah, you bet I am, and I'm gonna kick your ass. No real downsides here. There is a question of how often are we getting charmed or frightened, though? Probably not super often, certainly not every combat. And if your DM isn't trying to charm or frighten you because they know, just rage at them IRL. Okay, don't do that. But if you are DMing a Berserker Barbarian, please try and make sure they get some use out of this. Let them feel like a Berserker. So overall, Mindless Rage is cool. It's on theme, but there is a question of how often it'll actually come into play. Next. Intimidating Presence. Sounds cool. 10th level. Takes an action. Okay. Menacing Presence. Yeah, alright. Choose one creature. 30 feet. Just 30 feet. That can see or hear you. They make a Wisdom saving throw DC. DC equals 8 plus proficiency plus charisma, or be frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Wait, subsequent turns you can use an action to extend the duration on the frightened creature until the end of your next turn? The effect ends if the creature ends its turn out of line of sight or more than 60 feet from you. I mean, it's on theme. Is this any good? Nope. So it takes an action to potentially fear one single creature, and the DC is based off our charisma. It lasts pretty much for one turn, and then we need to use our action just to keep extending this thing for one turn. Its only saving grace is that it doesn't need to remake the save when we decide to extend the duration of the fear. But that still takes our action. This is such a bummer, honestly. It makes me want to rage. I feel like this needs some work. Maybe change it to any creature that can see or hear you within 30 feet. Maybe make it last a minute, but have any creature remake the saving throw at the end of their turn. Keep the DC with charisma because it can affect many creatures at once if we make this change. I think that feels a little better. And the fact that this is a level 10 subclass feature, it definitely needs a boost. Again, is it on theme? Definitely. It reinforces the fantasy of this frenzied, raging barbarian that terrifies everyone on the battlefield. Or I suppose in its actual case, a single creature. So written as it is, intimidating presence, hot garbage. It needs some changes. Moving quickly on before I rage. Retaliation. At 14th level, when you take damage from a creature that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature. Okay, this is pretty good. Probably the best feature of this subclass. Not saying much though. But this not only fits in with our theme, it's actually mechanically decent. It does suffer a similar fate as some of our other subclass features in that it requires a specific circumstance to actually use it. Here, not only do we need to be attacked, we actually need to be hit, and they have to be within 5 feet of us. And we also need our reaction. I really hope whenever we get to use this, we hit. And if we miss, I'll rage even harder. I feel like that's why this subclass is called the Path of the Berserker. Your subclass features just piss you off. But anyways, what kind of characters can we make with this subclass? Well, the obvious choice is the big, dumb, hulking barbarian who gets angry really quick but is lovable as well. We've seen this before.
You see Grog sitting there looking a little sheepish.
Grog, what's wrong?
Yeah, look, I had trouble sleeping, and I actually know like giant, but I can't read it.
That would be fun. We could also be a gladiator. Intimidating presence uses charisma, so playing a more charisma-based barbarian like a gladiator would be kind of cool, and it would fit in. I mean, you're a gladiator, you got high charisma, you gotta win over the crowds. Unless you dump charisma. And finally, why not do something outside of the box? What if we were like a long-tenured professor who at this point in their career is just so sick and tired of students coming in at the end of the semester asking for extra credit opportunities? Professor John, my favorite professor. You never showed up to half of my classes. Well, I was just sick. That's why I didn't come. Your colleagues told me that you were always in the tavern. Well, anyways, listen, if you could give me some extra credit opportunities to maybe make up for... never mind. That could maybe work. Would certainly be different. So are there any feats we like with this subclass? Any that synergize well? Kind of? Some of the barbarian staples don't really mix well here. Great Weapon Master, while still useful for this subclass, there's a little bit of overlap with that bonus action attack that you get from Great Weapon Master. Of course, you still need to reduce a creature to 0 hit points or crit to get that bonus action attack, and the Frenzy Barbarian doesn't require that. So it's not too bad, but there's still some overlap. If you get to the higher levels in this class, Sentinel becomes less useful. Of course, Sentinel already has a reaction weapon attack. The difference here is with Sentinel, that attack has to be against someone else and not you, and with the Frenzy Barbarian, Retaliation requires it to be you. But with Retaliation, you have to be hit. With Sentinel, they just need to make an attack. So again, not great synergy with that one. Some feats we do like, I like Martial Adept. Let's just get a few Battle Master maneuvers. And that'll work nicely with our bonus action extra attack we get from Frenzied Rage. Similarly, Slasher and Crusher are also really nice. Just depends on whichever weapon type you're using. You get a stat bump and an extra effect when you hit an attack or crit on one. Again, nice with that extra attack we get from Frenzied Rage. So in conclusion, should you play this subclass? Well, let's look at the pros and cons. What does this subclass at least do well? For starters, I think it's definitely got a good theme, okay? People will want to make characters that will fulfill the fantasy this subclass provides. Not only that, but the mechanics back the theme. That is super important. I think every single subclass feature in the Path of the Berserker makes us feel like a Berserker. So what do we not like? Obviously the mechanics are subpar, especially compared to its player's handbook counterpart, the Path of the Animal Totem. Another thing I don't like about this subclass is that it overlaps with some of our favorite feats. It just makes taking Great Weapon Master and Sentinel less worthwhile. Can you still get use out of them? Sure. Are there other feats that will also do a job for you? Definitely. So if you want to play a mindless Berserker and just smash through your opponents, this subclass is for you. Despite its obvious mechanical failings, I think you can still have fun, but I can also see how this would be frustrating to play. It just might make you, want to rage. That's all for the Path of the Berserker video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe for more. There's going to be a new subclass video out every Thursday. Up next, we have the College of Lore Bard. Hope to see you on the next one. Take care.